What's up, my dudes, my dudettes, and wrestling colleagues of all kinds? It's Dan the Beast 94 here, coming back at you with a DVD collection review. And if you haven't seen the title, it's an NWO DVD collection review. So I'm going to be showcasing off um, both NWO DVDs that were produced by the WWE. So let's get on with the first one here. First off, we have NWO Back in Black. Here's the spine and here's the back. I had actually just got this about 2 months ago at FYE. About $15. It is one of those more rare DVDs to find. Um, so here is the front, or the inside, I should say, with the insert. Came with an insert, luckily, and basically the menu screen. And basically, it just goes through like all the history. Hulk Hogan's history, Razor Ramon's history, Diesel's history in the WWF um, before departing, and then basically forming the New World Order, and has a lot of extras. Um, Bash at the Beach '96, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash taking on Sting, Luger, and Macho Man. Obviously, that's when Hulk Hogan would join them and form the New World Order. Fall Brawl War Games '96, Scott Hall, Nash, Hogan, and Fake Sting taking on Sting, Luger, Arn Anderson, and Ric Flair. That was obviously the match where everybody thought, Sting uh, turned his back on WCW, and that's when he would take a brief hiatus from wrestling, and that's where the whole Crow gimmick basically was created. You have Starrcade '98 with Kevin Nash taking on Goldberg. This is the infamous Scott Hall with the taser, jackknifing. Then you got Nash jackknifing Goldberg, winning the world title, ending Goldberg's undefeated streak, and the world title, if I didn't mention that already. And then the Raw match from 2002. This was a highly. Um, was it this match? No, this is a different match, but this is The Rock and Stone Cold taking out Scott Hall and Hollywood Hogan, obviously the WrestleMania opponents. It just goes, right down through their history. Um, all their history in WCW, to the point of Mr. McMahon coming out, making that video saying, I'm going to inject the WWF with a lethal dose of poison, introducing the NWO in the back of the leather chair, Hall, Nash, and Hogan making their comeback to the WWE at No Way Out 2002, leading up to the WrestleMania matches with Hogan taking on The Rock, Stone Cold taking on Scott Hall, and after that, it was just like it definitely wasn't the same. Obviously, we would know what would happen to Hall after the infamous plane ride from hell. Then they tried to recruit Big Show because Hall was not Hall. Nash was dealing with some injuries. Then they recruited X Pac after Mania. Then they tried to recruit Booker T, which he really didn't fit in the group. Then they acquired Shawn Michaels, looking to have like a storyline with Triple H, and that led to Kevin Nash making his comeback match in a 5 versus 5 match on Raw, which is the same match where he re-injured himself, tore his quad, and the next week Vince basically coming out to the NWO saying that the NWO is no more, introducing Eric Bischoff as the new Raw GM. All that I just said wasn't on this DVD, but in case you want a little insight of NWO history, I'm a big NWO fan. So on to the next DVD, which is NWO Revolution. Basically, this is just a documentary on like all the incarnations of like NWO. Obviously, it talks about the beginning of the NWO and where Eric Bischoff's direction was going to compete against Monday Night Raw. Obviously, bringing in Hall and Nash after their contracts with WWE. Having Hogan as that third man. And then basically just talking about how NWO, all these NWO incarnations destroyed WCW. One of the reasons, at least. Especially with like Wolfpack, NWO Wolfpack, NWO Elite, which was NWO Black and White and Black and Red fused together, which literally made no fucking sense. You had the Latino World Order, which they mentioned a little bit in here. And then they mentioned briefly about NWO 2000, which included like Jeff Jarrett, Bret Hart, Hall, Nash, Steiner, and Ron and Don Harris, the Harris Bros. If you guys don't know who the Harris Bros are, they were 8-Ball and Skull in the WWF, and the Disciples of Apocalypse faction / tag team. Because first it was a faction, then they shortened it down to a tag team, and they were managed by Paul Ellering for a while, and even Ellering had admitted that that was the worst decision. He couldn't stand going against his team, which was the Road Warriors. So this is the inside. As you can see, this is beautiful. Very nice artwork here. And then we go on to the contacts here. Basically says NWO. But let me tell you what's on here. Basically, this has like a whole bunch of matches. Giant versus Hollywood Hogan for the World Heavyweight title at Hog Wild 96. Outsiders versus Harlem Heat, Halloween Havoc 96. Outsiders versus the Steiner Brothers at Sold Out 97, which was NWO Sold Out, which they had their own pay-per-view, which I thought was pretty cool. Only downfall for that was a lot of the NWO members did not win their matches. Had Hogan versus Roddy Piper at Super Brawl 97. DDP versus Macho Man, Halloween Havoc 97. They definitely had one of the best feuds of the year in 97, DDP and Macho Man. Let me see. Sting versus Giant, Great American Bash 98. Then it kind of comes down to like the mediocre what the fuck matches. Hollywood Hogan and Eric Bischoff taking on Jay Leno and DDP. On to the last match on here, which was Hogan, Nash, and Hall taking on The Rock and Steve Austin, which was the match I was thinking about on the other DVD. March 11th of 2002 on Raw. And that about does it, guys. So, if you like this video, leave a like. Leave your comments down in the comment section down below. If you're watching my channel and not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. What are you doing? So, that'll be it for my NWO review, guys. Until next time, which will be tomorrow for my Q&A, Dan the Beast 94, signing off.